perspective on this big story. Indrasekhar Singh, agricultural policy analyst, is also joining us live. Kavita Ashok, environmentalist, is also live with us. Dilip Cherin, image guru, joins us on the broadcast. Gurmukh Singh Arora, Supreme Court advocate, is also with us on the program. Dilip Cherin, let me begin with you first. How hopeful are you with this cloud seeding experiment? Do you believe this could be the possible solution to Delhiites' woes, to your woes, looking at the air pollution around us? All of this, even as stubble burning, of course, continues unabated as well.
You know, it's a good question. My hopes are high that technology solutions are part of the answer. Human solutions are the rest of the answer. So cloud seeding falls into technology solutions like the seeders that we are talking about, and technology solutions have their place. Human behavior alteration is just as important. And I think that we need to see both of them work together if a huge city like Delhi is to be able to control its environment, because don't forget that it's also a city which is peculiarly surrounded by at least 4 states, which are very, very powerful influences on the city of Delhi. So Delhi is not an island. Delhi is influenced by everything that happens around, and more importantly, by how people behave. So I don't want to get into the detail on what happened on Diwali night, but the fact is that we need figures. We certainly don't want sprinklers around the AQI monitors. We need actual figures. We need data. And as the minister said, experiments must continue. There are clear options that countries across the world have tried, and we need to try and find out which one suits Delhi's climate, its budget, and its needs. All 3 things need to be taken into account. And if we can find a solution that works well, then that will be truly great, and it will make this capital livable again.
Well, we are still waiting for a solution, of course. Indrasekhar Singh, there have been, there have been multiple efforts as well by the government to provide, of course, these super seeding machines to farmers. There have also been other efforts, of course, to give them alternatives. Reportedly, it's a 500 crore plan. 1.48 lakh is what those crop management machines cost. But still, no change on ground? Or are we seeing a bit of change on ground?
I think we have the smoke and the spots on the TV, on the screen, which tell us that it may have made a marginal difference. And if not so, then why are there so many dots, reporting fires all across now, all across parts of Punjab, parts of Haryana, and parts of Western Uttar Pradesh? So the thing is, I think the facts on the ground, what we can see, verify that it has only managed to make marginal difference. And what you earlier said, that there was a mismatch between what the machinery that was being given to the farmers and what the farmers could actually use. So instead of building and putting money in capacity, we are putting money in redundancy. And that was the big problem. Today, again, I think the Punjab government announced that they're going to have a massive multiple thousand crore for having more super seeders. I think that's again money down the, basically money wasted, because we need newer kind of machines that are more suitable to the Indian field and to the Indian conditions and to the plant that's being grown. And I don't see, and I don't even foresee that how these Western tuned machines, which are mainly for Western farms and, more industrialized farms, are able to solve this problem here. And Indian farms are hybrid. They are not ready for industrial agriculture completely. That's why we have this problem, which is persistent. And the second thing is, we have repeatedly failed to make the straw, the paddy straw, into a valuable raw material for allied industry. And I think that, or for cattle fodder, I think we've miserably failed in these 2 other avenues, because of which this is considered a waste, and farmers find it no better than to just burn it. So, we have not done anything to solve the source of the problem. We've tried to put some bandages, and unluckily, the wound is still bleeding, and it's bleeding into our screens right now also. So I think that's the real problem here. And instead of, we could have also done a direct bank transfer. Right now, Punjab was affected by the floods. You could have given the farmers the money and said, you know what, take this money, and then if you do not clean your farm, then we can think of penal action. But the Supreme Court, in fact, added and aggravated, the political movements within Punjab, and they started to say, let's arrest farmers. Naturally, that's going to create political turmoil. So here we're trying to, add more fuel to the fire and
Yes.
not try to address the source problem here.
But interestingly, some of the pollution monitors in Delhi show that the stubble contribution to the PM 2.5 levels, Kavita, are actually below 3%. What is then contributing to the majority of the high pollution levels?
There are many reasons for Delhi's air pollution. Firstly, is the topography of the city. It's in the shape of a bowl, and when winter sets in, the pollutants, whatever are in the air, are unable to be blown away until and unless the winds are very strong. So, of course, the location, the topography of Delhi is such that every year we have to face this problem. Secondly, I think stubble burning, if I keep it aside for a moment, of course, it is a big factor in pollution. Whatever may be the denials, I am not sure how which data is saying what, because when you cross borders during this time of the year, you will see so many farm fires already, lit up. So that remains a factor. We cannot deny it. Besides that, I'd like to, add that vehicular pollution adds up to a lot of Delhi pollution, and the winter months make it worse because of the pollutants are unable to be blown away. Second is construction sites are very unmonitored, and we have late night construction. There is no time limit. I don't think there are even proper fines, and nobody's listening. Third, I think let's give the factor of how waste is being burnt in the city, and waste management, in the sense that nobody's monitoring. Even in the late in the night, you see so many places, even in this side of south of Delhi, I see quietly people are burning the garbage in the nights. So that also adds to a lot of pollution. So there are many factors, and I think civic consciousness is lagging behind, so that way we are unable to help the government or the authorities in whatever they do. So I guess the citizens have to, brace themselves up, and there has to be more awareness. More awareness that air pollution is finally killing us and our loved ones. It's not the government's, solo attempt which is going to materialize the air pollution solution.
Yes, Gurmukh Singh Arora, let me draw you in here as well. What is your perspective on what is contributing, which are the measures which are working, which are the measures which are not working? Do you appreciate these new techniques being used, like cloud seeding trials by the Delhi government? Will it once again have to be the court which will have to step in, or will finally the executive take the bull by its horn and hopefully lead to some solutions drawing results?
So ultimately, I think it will always be a joint effort of the government, of the executive, and also of the judiciary. But what is happening at the moment is that the government, in its best of its capability, is trying to do some and trying to test some techniques which have never happened in the earlier stages of our timeline. So government, either they are failing or they are able to pull out the best of it. That is something which depends on the nature. The government is doing the best of their actions which they can do. The ultimate thing is that if the clouds are not having the moisture, other parties or other individuals should not blame the government that it is something that the government is doing and government is failing at. It is something which should be really appreciated. See, ultimately it is not the government who has gone and spread the pollution. It is we also as humans, and also the citizens who've burned crackers, who've added, who are driving cars, who factories are emitting emissions, and everything that is. So it is not the government who has done that. It is we also who has contributed a lot to them. And instead of blaming any individual, so there's a very good author named Malcolm Gladwell. So he talks about a concept of tipping point. So tipping point is that whenever some big actions happen, it happens because when very small, tiny co-joint tiny actions take place. So today, if we see what are all the tiny actions which are taking forward to heal this, the situation which we have created, there are no co-joint efforts which will lead to any solution. Some individuals are blaming the government. Some individuals are just laughing at other people. Some individuals are not caring at all. They think that it's not our cup of tea, we can't do anything. But something which is actually lacking is legal awareness. So what I particularly think is the executive should make sure that there is a lot of legal and practical awareness amongst the citizens, so that every individual can contribute in the best of his or her capability, so that we all individuals and the government co-jointly can reach to a solution.
Yes, let me quickly, take that back across to you, Dilip Cherian, and of course these machines for the farmers and also the other sort of initiatives for the farmers. Why are they not, drawing results? Is it because of lack of awareness of the farmers? Is it sheer laziness? Is it costs, which obviously are high, which is why this is a just an easy way and a cheap way for them to burn their stubble? Is it the lack of variance? What is at fault here, which leads to these stubble burning cases continuing and continuing? I think 147 is the spike reported in the last 48 hours, in the last 24 hours, beg your pardon.
As Kavita said, the big problem is geography and the fact that Delhi is a dust bowl. That's one. Our behavior doesn't change very much. But if you notice, around Diwali, all kinds of home reconstruction and construction spikes. This is because it's a great time to do that kind of remodeling or construction or finishing of construction. So that's one fact. The second fact is what Gurmukh said, that you need to have a whole bunch of cascading behavior changes to make a real impact. That also is not happening. The law isn't going to do very much about it. And I think what Indrashekar said was that the kind of volume of farm fires is also seasonal, like the around Diwali construction. When you combine all this with the nature of Delhi's geography, that air does not rise, we actually behave quite badly right through the year. But we are saved by very hot climate during the rest of the year, and during the rains, the pollution doesn't show up. So in many senses, what happens is that in winter, we are made aware of this very painfully, and that is why we need behavioral changes cascading down right through the year and the right technical fixes instead of European cedars. The answer lies in being able to find, and they're all very, very clear and simple solutions. We need to make sure those happen. You need to make sure that you change the methods of construction. You can't enhance vehicles beyond a point. We constantly blame vehicles. I think vehicles run the same right through the year, except that during summer and the rainy season, which are the two other seasons of Delhi, it doesn't matter because it goes up into a higher level where we can't monitor it.
Okay, let me in fact quickly also draw you in here, Indrashekar, once again. Indrashekar, we are seeing, of course, a war also erupt between what's happening in Haryana and what's happening in Punjab, given the fact that obviously, Punjab is ruled by the Aam Aadmi Party, Haryana is ruled by the BJP. Why is there also so much politicking on issues like this? These are issues that affect everyone. Pollution does not see whether it's an Aam Aadmi Party supporter or a BJP supporter before harming their health. It harms everyone's health. Is it time for a united approach as well? Is it time for a pan-India policy rather than leaving it to individual states?
Uday, first of all, thank you for raising this point. This is extremely important. And, seeing the political situation, one can only say that common sense is most uncommon. And affecting what's happening right now, there needs to be a multi-regional kind of administrative system that supersedes, and basically helps the citizenry without the politicking happening, to prevent this menace. It doesn't matter whether it's being emitted in Noida or in Delhi or in Punjab or in Haryana. The thing is, we are all breathing it. And it's about time that there needs to be a new administrative structure which is taking control of climate change, which is taking control of the pollution levels, and has some powers in decision making that the states have to follow. between and we all know where the money which suddenly disappears, where does all that go? I don't need to name those factors, but there's definitely a huge gap in our development policy where all this money just disappears. So that is another big reason. But I think it's high time that there should be a national emergency air authority which should take care of this on a war footing. Because without which, no matter we can pride ourselves in our nation, but with having the national capital air turn toxic for 3 months, who are we kidding? It's a real question to all Indians. And I think Kavita ji also said this, that we have to work together and we have to have citizen initiatives. And I think that's very, very important at this stage. There needs to be a sense of discipline. There needs to, countries like Japan have done it. China has done it, and Japan is a democracy, very much like our own, a traditionalism democracy. So if they can do it, why can't we? And it doesn't have to be an authoritarian route like what is happening in China. But there are newer ways of encouraging people to basically get off this mission of suicide. Right now, our policy in simple text is suicide, it's ecological suicide, and it's actually affecting the people's health and our productivity. So why are we on a suicidal path? I think that question needs to be answered by our policymakers. Because all roads kind of lead to the death of our children, the death of elderly, and just a bad effect on all our health. And why do we suffer it? I don't know. But this is the question policymakers should address by now.
Yes. Kavita Ashok, is that something that should now be taken on priority? Is there a need for coordination rather than confrontation at a sensitive time like this?
The time has come now to get into action.
Because even the cloud seeding trials, at least an attempt is being made, but again, people are making fun of it. People are, poking fun. At least attempts are being made. Similarly, in Punjab as well, attempts are being made, but there will obviously be politicking, which once again leads me to my question: is it time for coordination rather than confrontation?
Yes. So I feel it's not fair, to dismiss the efforts of the government, because truly this has worked in other states. Uday, it has worked in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, in Maharashtra in the past. So why not Delhi? It will work, I'm sure. So firstly, I think it's not fair to dismiss the effort of the government. Secondly, I think the time has now come, as I'm listening to everybody, all the panelists, I'm understanding and looking around how AQI is rising, how people are not concerned, as if it's not their problem at all. So I think I would love to focus on awareness of the people. Let us have mass moments, to create this awareness. Let the media, the government, and NGOs and people like us all get together. RWA, schools, colleges. Let it be a revolution. Let people understand that this is killing your own family. It has nothing to do with the government. That the government is pushing it on us. It is not pushing. They're trying to add on and maybe save in a way that the health of the people of Delhi NCR. So let's all pitch in instead of making fun or dismissing the efforts. I think it's time everybody appreciate one thing and leaving it on a positive note. I think let's all work hand in hand with the government, its policies, and understands. And if there is a night which says no crackers or green crackers, kindly stick to it. If it says go odd even, abide by it. Everything it says no garbage burning, no construction, please resist that temptation to construct during this time if the air pollution is rising so much. So I think, don't you think that it's time we pitch in a little bit and show a collective effort to curb air pollution?
All right. Appreciate all of our guests joining us. We've run out of time. Let's slip into a short break. Much more coming up.
Thank you.